Alright, and welcome back to our second installment of the Skybound Odyssey Reveal Season Reactions. So we'll take a look at those reveals that happen on the 8th and the 9th of September per the calendar that Equinox has brought out. There is one of those that hasn't been released yet, or I have not been able to find, so we will try to recap that tomorrow or next time we release this. So let's just get in it with my initial reactions. They may be right, they may be wrong, but they will be definitely my impressions. So we will start with Gavroche being the first one that was revealed. This was revealed by Equinox as part of the article that showcased the various keywords that were coming out in this set. So Gavroche is 1-2 for 0-1-1 when played from reserve. Create an aerolith token in your landmarks. And this is great. Traced will be using this because it is such a cheap character to get out. I believe it is pretty useful. The aerolith in and of itself, it's a permanent that when it's sacrificed, you can resupply. And it does cost you one to sacrifice, but there are so many uniques now that were never really being used until we have the ability of using permanents that you don't care if they stay. So if they stay or if they go, like ultimately that's what it's for. The art is lovely. I'm trying to figure out what they have. I'm assuming it may be aerolith. You can actually see the aerolith token, or what I believe the token will be, through the glass window behind the character Gavroche. So this card is common and rare, of course, in Axiom, and then the out of faction rare coming out of Lyra. 1-2 in the common, 1-1 for the rare, and the out of faction, and all of them have the same value, 0-1-1. The only difference is in the rare and the out of faction rare, when you do play it from reserve, you can sacrifice a permanent to create an aerolith token in your landmarks. Whereas the common is create an aerolith token in your landmarks. So interesting. I think it will be useful. I'm not sure, like from a stat perspective, it doesn't give you much, but the fact that you're getting for one resource in the rare, I'll use the example, you're getting the one single resource for one, and then you're also going to be getting a resupply out of it. That's not too bad at all. So this Gavroche is almost like you have an aerolith, you can discard an aerolith to create an aerolith in the rare and the out of faction. Not bad. I will see how much play it gets. Because it's low to the ground, it more than likely will get some level of play. Well, that takes us to the second one that was revealed, second card that was revealed in this article, also on the 8th of September, and this is the Sea Nymph, and it's really just showcasing the ability to move terrain markers around. So not only do we have it in the new hero in Lyra, but there's other cards that will do it as well, and the Sea Nymph is one of those. It feels though that is just a mechanism that will stay native to Lyra, because the Izmir out of faction rare does not give you that option. It just gives you the option when played from anywhere. You can sabotage as long as I'm facing an expedition in water. 3-2 for 0-0-4. You may think it's not good, but it's actually quite strong if you're trying to just progress. 4 stats for 3 in one single region type is really good. I really see, or this is very much built for Aurak, or for any of the builds that have the ability of, I can't remember the name of the card, but the one that allows you to have all your stats equal to one another. So pretty good. The out of faction, sorry, the rare in Lyra is the one that has the ability of when you play me from reserve, you may move a water terrain marker from any region to my region. So you must have already had to play it before. So this is better for late game than it is for early game to use its ability. But if I'm facing an expedition in water, you can sabotage. So you can't really use this on day one. And all of them have that. The common and the rare in Lyra only do it from hand. Okay, whereas the out of faction Izmir one does it both from hand and from reserve. I actually think the out of faction one is going to be used fairly it's a fairly decent one to be able to use, purely because you get double sabotage potential for 3 resources and then 2 resources from reserve. Very cheap from reserve. Very, very cheap. The art is different. Like looking at it, it's not what I'm traditionally seeing in Altered, but it looks very, very nice. All right, then let's have a look at the third card that was revealed, and this was Resentful Robin. Once again, in that article, it's a Muna card, 1/1 for 1/0/0 in stats, and the same stats apply for the rare. The common though has if I'm played from anywhere, if I'm facing a character, I gain 1 boost. This is once again linked to the new hero, looking at the ability that comes out from that new hero. So you more than likely will give them a 1/1/1 token, you use 1 resource, and now you're at 2/1/1 to be able to beat them. The rare one, though, has when played from reserve, my expedition also ascends, and this is showing that ascend isn't just in Orders, so it has the ability of being in at least Muna, as far as we've seen as well. Pretty interesting, not much in terms of its resources, doesn't give you anything. Well, I guess it does. If you do ascend and you end up drawing, then that allows you to progress forward when this is played. So potential. On the other side, though, when you're looking at it from an Ordis, the Artifaction one, it's the same as the rare, but so my expedition ascends. I think this will go well in the new hero as well in Ordis, but very cheap. So potentially we'll see play purely because it is cheap, and in more than likely case, you're always going to get the benefits. The only weird thing with the Ordis one is 0/0/0 in stats, so it starts with nothing. There may be better things to use your 1 resource for, but you never know. There's going to be some great deck techers out there. The next one is what I find one of the most beautiful pieces of art that I've seen. Just love the layout of this. I do also believe this is when you open up a pack, this is actually one of the arts in the pack. Ascended Trooper, 2/2 for 2/2/2. So when I was speaking to Nick about this, he basically said it is the exact same trooper that you have. Now they've got wings. And a thermos to match as well. So when played from the common, when played from hand, if I'm in an ascended expedition, I gain 1 boost. So potentially 2/2/2 converts to 3/3. But if it isn't ascended, then that expedition ascends. And until rest, it can move forward even if matched in its region terrains by the opponent's expedition. The rare basically converts that ability from hand to become from anywhere. I think this is lovely. This is great. Will be played cheap, on curve, with a potential additional benefit. Right, whether it's making an expedition ascended or making you have 3/3/3 for 2 resources and doing it twice. I would play the rare in Ordis in any of the heroes. In particular, Sigismar is the one that I'm thinking of, but I'll also put that in the new hero as well. So the interesting conversion in this card, though, is it goes to Muna, and in Muna, it is the same as the rare version in Ordis, and this will be great as well. In Tasia, imagine that if you've already ascended an expedition, two resources for 4 with Tasia, awesome. Or even 3/3/3 and an ascent in Tasia as well. Very, very strong card to be able to be played. This will see gameplay for sure. Then that takes us to the 4th card that was revealed as part of this article, which was Defect, also highlighting the new keyword Defect in and of itself, where you can get a character switch expeditions, and actually your opponent's paid for it, but then it becomes yours. Really interesting. 7 resources, though, for the common target character defects. It's simple as that. That's all it does. But if you're using Moyo as the new character, you play a 7-cost spell. You will create another 2/2/2 Manamoth, and you'll also be able to draw a card from it. So it really is a flavoursome ability to be able to pay the 7. It's whether or not you're able to defect something that's worth it enough to cover all those additional costs, because you're basically going to be out of mana when you do this. The rare, though, in Izmir is 6/6, also has a fleeting spell, but target character with hand cost 4 or less deflects, so giving you limits for one less resource. And then the artifaction in Lyra is the same as the rare in Izmir. I think this card could see a lot of play. In many cases, though, you may not get a lot of the value, so you have to hold off for the right opportunity, and that's because most people play 1, 2, or 3 costs with very little. But you're getting a big swing, and so they've used 3 resources, you use 6, but you take control of what they had, then it's very difficult for them to overcome. You're playing against Muna, you're going to get the boost as well. If they're playing Tasia, sorry, if there's any ability on that card, you can take over that ability and play it on your side. Pretty interesting. I love this because it's the dimension I didn't know or didn't think we would actually introduce so early, but it looks like we have in set 4. So bringing in some new dynamics. I also think is the picture Moyo. I'm not sure who's in there, but it looks really cool. Like it a lot. Then we had a Lalo Eerie Leviathan be revealed by a guy trying, my good friend over on the East Coast. Uh, the next of a series of Leviathans that I think are going to be revealed during this season. I believe there will be 1 Leviathan for every faction, and this is the Izmir one, quite an ugly looking thing, also with a very unique kind of ability, no pun intended there, as if Nick was here, he'd make a joke out of it. So 5/5 at the common for 2/2/2, gigantic, but it is also considered a spell. So this is the part that's interesting, even when not in play. So that's if it's sitting in your reserve, it will be counted as a spell, etc. Or there may be cards that interact with your hand, it will be considered a spell and a character. Doesn't give you many stats, but if you look at it from a perspective of if you're playing a Farnus, you play this out, it gets the 2/2 for being played a character and the +1 bonus for being a spell as well. So it'll be coming out for 3/3/3. The rare is 4/4 for 1/1/1. And it has the same spell. Everything's the same, just comes out cheaper. I'm not sure whether the rare is worth it. Paying 4 resources, and I guess use the same Afanas dynamic, and you can see how huge it is with the ship that's on the side, or the yeah, it looks like it's a barge. It's huge in these floating islands that are outside in the tumult areas, not part of Asgartha. The rare comes to Axiom, and it is rather than being about spells, it's almost considered an expedition permanent, even when not in play. So you could potentially be one of the permanents that you can sacrifice, I guess. But I don't know why you'd spend 4 resources to sacrifice something. I'm not sure how this will be played or used in Axiom. And I'm looking forward to seeing it in play when someone does something fantastic with it. The common, I think, is the one that I would play the most. I know it's an additional resource, but to be able to get 3/3/3 stats as a gigantic means a lot more than a 2/2/2 gigantic to me. Then the next card that was revealed, this was by Equinox on Instagram. Paju Axiom Pilot. The common is 2/2 for 2/2/2. Once again, very much balanced in terms of what it can give you. No abilities in the common, but it does give you an ability if you were to discard it from reserve. You can create an aerolith token in a target player's landmark. I have no idea why you would give it to an opponent. There may be something that says if you give something to an opponent, something occurs later on, but there's nothing that's been revealed to date on that. Pretty cool. They're inside of a robot. Paju is. He's a pilot apparently here, but I have no idea. And if I recall correctly, is Paju Trace's friend? It might be. Oh man, I should know my lore. And I don't. The rare is 2/2 for 2/2/0, but it has a text, a when text. When a robot or a token joins my expedition, if I have no boosts, I gain 1 boost and then create an aerolith token in your landmarks. So it has got the when, but it can only ever be used 1. The artifaction rare in Izmir also has the exact same benefit of the rare in Axiom. It's okay, I guess. I still don't know how we're going to use a lot of the aeroliths outside of being able to resupply when you want. I do know that if you have more landmarks in your expedition zone, though, at dusk or when at the end of day, you're able to it's considered a sacrifice when you discount down to 2 landmarks, and you'll get the resupply out of it then as well. So there may be some good potential that comes out of that, but this will be very much centered on a robot build than anything else if that's the case. So interesting. I'm not sure if I would play it. Maybe the common, purely for what it gives you in even stats and not taking up a rare slot. Then we've got what Nick had as his reveal, which is Order Signet. I've spoken a lot about it with Nick on our podcast, but I think this card is fantastic. Either the common or the rare will be played often in Orders. I also think it gives you some flexibility in Muna. Love it because you can choose one of 3 different options, and at the rare, 2 of 3 different options. Sleep, get remove all boost from a character, or make every character gain +1 in a target expedition. So in this case, target expedition is not both of yours. You have to choose one or the other, so your hero side or your companion side. Just which is slightly different than some of the other cards that basically give you 1 boost across all your characters in your expeditions. The card that I revealed is the next one to look into, and this was Yana, Quaggan Agent. If you talk to Nick, he believes this agent may become a hero one day. I'm not sure, maybe it will. It is an expensive card to play. So 5/5 for 4/4/4. When played from anywhere, this is at the common. You may have target character gain a sleep. It is the first common card that actually gives you the ability of sleeping twice. It costs a bit to do, but it may be very beneficial to be able to do it. Potentially, if you're playing Waru, and this is a bureaucrat in and of itself, you have the ability of re-sleeping some of those characters that you want to get the benefit if you don't progress it on a certain side. So interesting. The same thing happens for most Orders heroes. If there's characters you've got that you want to sleep 1 extra day, you can do that. Uniques, if you've got them, pretty good. The rare and the artifaction in Bravos, and the rare, of course, in Orders, allows you to sleep again. Same thing, but if you end up sleeping the character that's opposite you, you get the added benefit of a sabotage. And if you consider sabotaging and sleep to be the equivalent of 1 stat or 1 resource, then these can actually be overpowered for what they can give you. So interesting, love it. I love the lore, and you've got to listen to Nick's wife as she did this on my behalf in terms of speaking as Yana, and it was beautiful, really, really amazing. The next card that was revealed is a Dodo. Look at that, bringing the extinct character back. Very, very pretty. The common in green, the rare in a reddish hue. And this was revealed by Adabu. So thank you for revealing this card. Once again, the sleep mechanic is back, and it's really showcasing that with now 3 cards in a row linked to sleep, and this is in Muna and out of faction into Orders. So when played from anywhere, I gain a sleep, and when a character joins the expedition facing me, you may have me lose a sleep. Very interesting. So you can lose a sleep if someone plays something in that expedition against you. It's playing mind games with me, and I'm sure it will play with others as they're playing this game. So 2/2 for 3/3/2, very, very strong stats. Even if it's delayed and you sleep to the next day, that is really strong stats. It's basically an Orders Trooper in terms of additional value. Of course, you're playing 2 and not the 1, but you're getting that same growth in terms of its value. The rare in Muna gains a sleep as it does from anywhere. It is 2/2/2 though, not 3/3/2. And when a character joins the expedition facing me, I gain 1 boost. Really, really good for late game play. And the exact same rare functionality is in Orders as the artifaction. Gains a sleep when a character joins the expedition facing me, I gain 1 boost. So it's as if you're almost guaranteed to win that side, because they're just going to continually boost your card if they end up trying to do that. It's a good way of controlling the pace of the game for that one and one side only win. But lovely. Really, really nice. I would probably look to play both, and it's giving Muno ways of trying to play outside of your anchor mechanism. Look, didn't even mention it, but if you're playing Festival, this isn't too bad for Festival as well, being a very cheap sleep card. The next card has got me baffled though. So this was revealed by Altered Scout, who does a great website on being able to do unique evaluations and finding uniques in the marketplace. Uh, Dai, it's Daiko Kuten. 3/3 for 5/5/3, so incredible stats, but it has a huge downside. The common is target opponent may immediately play a spell for free. The good thing is you may be playing against opponents that don't have spells, but if you're playing against Izmir, if you're playing against other Lyra characters, you could be in for some trouble in terms of them being able to play something for free. Imagine they're holding on to a spell that's really costly, and there's no limits to be able to play it for free. That would hurt a ton. Now, good thing is, at the moment, no one's playing that, but come next season, you never know, especially with Moyo looking to increase their spell intensity in terms of costs. The rare is 3/3, but for 5/5/5. But instead of being able to play a spell, target opponent may immediately play a card with base cost 4 or more for free. Once again, if the meta shifts to be able to have cards that are more expensive, or you're playing against a Chadi, this is awful. It's awful. You would never play it, you would mana it every time. But against most other characters, though, they're more than likely not going to have something that costs 4 or more. So, do you run the risk? If you're playing Lyra, you've got to, because that's part of their game style. I love that it gives you that choice and that risk reward. The artifaction is also in Muna, and I think it's actually really strong in Muna as well, to be able to do that. And yeah, but if someone comes back at you and they had a character that was 4 or more and they get to play it for free, that would hurt so much. But hey, why not run the gauntlet? Why not give it a go? I love the idea that this card, it probably won't be a meta card, but it will be an absolute fun card to play. Then we had Altered TCG blog, so our good friends there revealed Eru, Emissary of the Wild, a druid character in Muna, 3/3 for 4/2/2, and once again, very much the tree hugging style of gameplay that we saw introduced last set. When played from hand, you may have target character facing me gain anchored. If you do, I gain anchored. So you more than likely want to anchor something that is. That's at the rare. The common has no text at all. 3/3 for 4/3/3. It's still pretty good. Slightly above curve, and it is very strong on forest, so you would probably be looking to play this at with Rin. I would play this actually. It doesn't give you anchored, but it's some strong stats available for you at the common. But the rare one, you'd look to anchor something smaller than what you will anchor. The good thing is, because they're both going to be on the same side, they will negate each other. And your goal is that your stats are higher for longer. In Ordis, this also may see play, as you may have target character facing me gain anchored. If you do, I gain anchored. So exactly the same as the rare in Muna. I'm just trying to think, why would I not play this? You can anchor something smaller than what this is in what they're giving you, but it's 4/2/2 and not 4/3/3 as the common is when you play the rare or artifaction rare. Very lovely card. The art has got so much joy this set compared to the last two we've had. So really getting us back to what we saw in Beyond the Gates. Then we have down to our final two cards that were revealed. Blue Oak TV revealed Blue Cap. Fantastic work with your part 1 and part 2 videos, Blue. Love it. Did well. And I love how you even dressed up as the Blue Cap. It was very flavoursome to who you are. So the comment is 2/2 for 2/2/1. When my expedition fails to move forward during dusk, create an aerolith token in your landmarks. So to be able to get the potential resupply. The rare is 3/3 for 3/3/3. So increase in stats substantially, actually, to make it on curve. But when my expedition fails to move forward during dusk, create an aerolith token in your landmarks. If both of your expeditions fail to move forward, create two instead. So you could look to try to use this as a way of making sure you don't win on both sides and you don't, like, an equivalent of a card draw, but on the other side. Now, the problem I find is that you can create two landmarks is if you've already flooded the board with having landmarks, you're not going to get the benefit of resupplying in the evening at the end of the day. But what it allows you to do is pay one resource for future days to be able to get that resupply. So, and it is a quick action, that resupply of the aerolith. So it has potential just as a complete different kind of gameplay. And because at the rare it is considered on curve, then anything else is just cream. On the other side, and you can see aerolith actually that Blue Cap has actually got, and it is a bureaucrat as well. So this, because it's a bureaucrat, these abilities could potentially trigger twice. So very, very sneaky way of getting some additional cards. The artifaction rare is in Axiom. When my expedition fails to move forward during dusk, create an aerolith token in your landmark. So exactly the same. I think they will use it as well, that resupply. It's something that you're looking for in the majority of the Axiom heroes, especially because they don't have the ability of card drawing too much. The only way they really do it is relying on Hooked to get the draw. So there you go, not too bad at all. And the final one we've got, also done by some friends of ours at Altered Corner. Well done, Wookie. You got your reveal. You've been you made it into the top 50 or whatever the number that you guys were saying for as a joke on the side. Sticky Shroom. So the third of the shrooms that we're getting access to. Pretty simple. 2/2 for 2/0/0, and it gains anchored. So if you're going for the anchored mindset, this plays along swimmingly with that, and also plays along with Rin in that it is very much forest centric. The rare is 2/2 for 2/0/0. It gains anchored, but at noon, if I'm in forest, create an aerolith token in target player's landmark. So this saying that, so if you're playing 2 versus 2 multiplayer, you can choose someone else. At Lyra, so this is native to Lyra, but also into Muna at the rare, and that's what I was mentioning before with Rin. And the ability to use this in Rin. So you probably would use it in Rin to do it. In Lyra, though, because it's 0/0, you can use it in Aurak. It will give you some benefits in Aurak. I don't really see Fen use it unless they're looking for the festival build. For 2 resources, it may be cheap enough. I don't know how you'd really look to use this with Nevenka, but you might. It's versatile because it's so cheap. I think any card that's cheap can become really versatile in the meta. But there you go. Really pretty card. Very deviant on the rare compared to the Happy Joy look on the common card. And if I heard correctly from Altered Corner, then this is a depiction of Nevenka's leg. Something getting stuck to Nevenka, I think, if the story is true, because she does tend to lie a lot. But there you go. Lots of new cards being revealed. Lots of ways of trying to use these new mechanics and making other heroes viable. Maybe this is the set that Aurak becomes viable. I know I thought it was going to become much stronger this set, but maybe in the new one we get the last missing pieces, and maybe Sticky Shroom is part of that. Alright, that's it, and I look forward to seeing you guys again in a couple of days when we release the next episode with the next tranche of reveals. Hasta luego.